I am the flame, and the flame calls for silence, stillness, and transcendence. Beyond any ultimate reality that we think can forever stay the same. In equal proportion to the flame that calls for the acknowledgement that everything that humanity is experiencing is in some way a mirror. Of what humanity, in some way, wishes to experience. And until humanity has gotten the experience it needs, it will not move to the next level. And that is difficult to communicate because oftentimes, it requires holding back your communication in order to really hone in on the inbound potential, image, action that could help us see the mirror. Who is us, but the collective and the individual. Social media and the human reinforcement, or the collective social and public reinforcement of social media as it is now, is going to change. And how is it going to change? Well, it is changing before our eyes, but can we see the subtle layers? Because all the news and the data, the timelines, is bolstered by an ontology of events, people, and choices that have led to what we have today. So what's the point of this video? It's to create a fire that gives us a sense that there is something that may be difficult because a part of us doesn't want to release the patterns that go deep, deep into the true history, which goes way back further than what humanity knows, for that is just an inkling. But nevertheless, is there anything important that the flame wishes to say? I could as well use my name. I could say I, but I welcome everyone to share the flame, the diamond essence, that which is undefinable, ineffable, and yet able to be grounded throughout the spectrums of life's experience, that is muddled with all sorts of, or muddled with all sorts of inversions, but it's still within the law, otherwise it would not exist. And so, one statement I read from a book recently is that evil simply cannot be removed because the Creator thinks it's bad. And so, evil is going to have to recognize in itself that there is no energy veil, evil, and that what binds all things is the reverse, Love. Evil reverse is not love, but yet it is, because it's also live is associated with, in some way, the word love. A love to see how vast we can see and experience the parts of ourself that manifest as beings often that we are not able to detect with our physical senses, and at the same time interweave and act with those around us in such a way where they may experience some of that flame, not by us forcing it or thinking that we always need to choose the flame in a way that's been done before. Because the flame manifests in various ways. The world says, how come you keep switching back between first person and third person? And that is the enigma. So, who is this video for but the world reflecting as a form of myself on a level that is experiential as I relinquish the lies that religion has built, that science has built, that education and government have built. And there are truths scattered within them all. But what really can be said about being the way, the truth, and the life? The open door that no man can shut. And not everyone, well, actually everyone in the world has some culture and tradition that relays the basic dynamic within us is the universal power, force, life that animates all things. And grounding that into society, into our interpersonal relations, circumstances, is a call of courage. At least until we get to that point where we have some discernment, we have had some journey, realizing that the darkness, the path of entropy, the path of looking down upon others, is not what truly lasts. And I relinquish this need, this self-identification that I need to talk fast and in extraordinary terms so that I can capture the people's attention. That is what I relinquish now. And so, the flame may close its eyes and continue to see that there's always different ways of embodying the change we wish to see. And that change that we wish to see, in some ways, does need to compromise and temper itself in order to get along in this world. But there is a certain groove, a certain valley, a certain crevice within our spectrum of choices that can manifest as that which we may not know ahead of time what it is that actually builds the equilibrium that life is an ongoing flow. And so the flame has been written about, it's been talked about, it's been debated, experimented with. But anyways, the flame calls for continued introspection to how we can reverse engineer the very system that we don't think is reflecting some part of ourself, even if it is very hard, negligent, inhumane. But with that being said, enough has been said for now.